Good day everyone. What's up, Java man? This is again teacher Jerry A. Java for English with Jerry Java here on YouTube. Today we will be talking about the 6 elements of a narrative or of a story. What are these elements of a narrative? These are, we have setting, characters, conflict, plot, theme, and point of view. Setting. What is the setting of a story? Well, the setting actually just tells you the time and the place when and where the story happens. You can find the setting at the beginning, in the intro, at the first few sentences of that story. In a fairy tale, it usually starts with, once upon a time, in a faraway land. Sometimes though, the setting is not really given, it's implied. We have to read between the lines. It's up to us to think. Characters. What are characters? Characters are the people, or sometimes even animals, or even things that give life to your story. Characters are also very important in a story, because without characters, nobody will give life to the lines, to the story, to the dialogues. There are 2 kinds of characters. We have the protagonist and the antagonist. What is a protagonist? A protagonist is the hero, the good one in a story. He's the hero of the story. Everything around the story happens to him, happens with him, happens because of him. That's the protagonist. Whereas the antagonist, this is now the villain, the one that does everything just to ruin the life of our hero. Okay, he's the villain of the story, the antagonist. Conflict. What is a conflict? Conflict, it just tells you the struggle, the opposition of forces, okay, versus, okay, it tells you the struggle that the hero or our protagonist has against our antagonist. 2 major kinds of conflict are the internal and external conflict. Internal, these are the conflicts that happen within the character, within the person. So then we have external conflict, all the conflict that happens when the character or our protagonist has to fight against a society, against a norm, or against nature. That's it. So we have man versus man, man versus nature, man versus society, and then man versus himself. Those are the kinds of conflict. Theme. What's a theme? A theme is actually the moral or the lesson in the story that tells generalization about human life. Okay? It's that one lesson that can be taken from that story. Popular themes would be about love is blind, rags to riches story, never give up. Plot. What's a plot? Order of events or the arrangement of events in a story. How the author sews the story. What happens first, what happens next, what happens last. We have the plot mountain. We have 5 parts of the plot. We have the first part, that's the introduction or the beginning, where in that part the author introduces or gives the setting, gives out the characters. After that, you go a little higher. Okay, that's the rising action. In the rising action, conflict and other characters are also introduced. At the peak, okay, that's the climax. The climax is the turning point in the story. It's the most exciting part in the story. If you are able to miss the climax, you'd be missing half. You'd be missing the whole point of a story. Now, once you reach the top, you go down, and that's called the falling action. Problems are gradually, slowly solved. The last part, it's the resolution or the conclusion or the ending or the denouement. Everything is already fixed. It's the happy ending, usually. Point of view or POV. The point of view actually tells you who is telling the story or to whose perspective is the story being told. Is it from one of the characters? Is it from a narrator? Is it from an observer? Point of view that can be first person point of view. The one telling the story is actually the character, one of the characters. You can also have the third person point of view. Third person, the narrator is just actually an observer in the story. You can also have the omniscient point of view, wherein omniscient, the all-knowing point of view, where the storyteller or the narrator actually tries to see all the corners of the mind of all the characters. Now, let me read to you a story. The title is The Three Little Pigs. So while I read, you please also take note of the elements of this short story. What are the elements again? We have the settings, character, theme, conflict, point of view, and of course, the plot. The Three Little Pigs. Mother Babby had 3 cute piglets as children. They were Oink, Doink, and Boink. One day, the 3 piglets agreed that they build their own houses. Oink was so lazy. He thought of building a house out of straw so that it would be done easily. Doink gathered pieces of sticks. He built a house made of sticks. Boink was unique. He wanted a house made of stone. Even if it was hard to build, he knew it would last longer. One night, a bad wolf came. He destroyed Oink's house so he could eat him. Oink rushed to Doink's house. The bad wolf followed them and destroyed Doink's house too. Oink and Doink rushed to Boink's house and hid there. The bad wolf followed them. He huffed and puffed to destroy Boink's house, but he failed. The bad wolf jumped from the chimney to be able to enter the house, but the siblings were ready. The bad wolf instead landed on a hot cauldron. The wolf got burned and ran as fast as he could. He promised himself not to go back to that house ever again. Oink and Doink were so happy they got saved. They thanked Boink. Oink and Doink learned a neat lesson. They should not rush one thing, especially if it concerns their future. Now, from that story, what is the setting? It actually did not say, right, in that story. As a reader, you just have to think, where could we possibly find pigs? Maybe in a farm, on a hill, on a village. How about the characters? We have, of course, the mother pig. Her name is Mother Babby. Then the 3 little pigs or the piglets. We have Oink, Doink, and Boink. Then, of course, the big bad wolf. How about the conflict? The conflict arises when the big bad wolf tries to eat the 3 little pigs by first destroying each of their houses. The theme, what's our theme? It's given there in the last part of the story that you should never rush things, especially when it concerns your future. You have to think about your future. You can also have do not be lazy. Everything that is best takes time. How about the plot? The plot there started with the 3 little pigs decided to build their own houses first made by straw, then made by out of sticks. Then the 3rd pig built his stone house or bricks. Then after that, there came the big bad wolf, destroying the houses of the first 2 pigs. Then lastly, he tried to destroy also the house, the brick house or the stone house of the third pig, which was called Boink. But he failed. Then he entered, this is now the climax part of the story, he entered the chimney, but he actually got burnt because he actually fell in a hot cauldron. Point of view, the point of view is just actually a narrator. That's the third person point of view. That's everything about the 6 elements of a narrative or of a short story. What are these again? We have setting, characters, conflict, theme, plot, and of course a point of view. So that's it, class. This has been Teacher Jerry A. Java again, here on YouTube. So for those who haven't subscribed to my channel yet, please subscribe. Thank you so much. Bye bye bye.